Okie dokie. Here we are, folks. Late again, but not as late as we could have been. So what are you going to do about it? I'm just getting some last second things set up. While we're here, if you're here early, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the like button early. It helps us out a whole bunch to get those thumbs up early on. Let's see here. Where am I? Okay. All right. We got Sada Paul over on YouTube. More Sir James. We got Fishing Bear over on Rumble. Martu YouTube. Hello. Welcome. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button early. It helps us out. You know, it's just the thing. It's just the thing we gotta ask for. So we appreciate everybody complying. Compliance. I'm gonna send out the text message now. See if we can't get a few more people to show up. It's gonna be fun. Crazy day, folks. Not even just personally. I don't know if you're watching what's going on, but crazy things are happening over in Russia as we speak. At this exact moment, history is being made. If you wouldn't mind, try giving a little, just do some interaction on on the Twitters or on the social media or something. Let us know you're there. That'll be fun. Retweet the episode notification, or just like it, or just say hi, something like that. So Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda's here. What's up, buddy? Got some excellent art from you today. Everybody should go to our Twitter accounts. Doesn't matter which one it is. Could be Gonza's, could be Canary Cry, could be mine. And check out the hilarious and awesome ad campaign that Sir Darren put together for Canary Cry Cologne. It's a lot of fun. Of course, we'll show it here on the show during the break. Okay, I don't know where the timer is. I think we're going to go. I think we're going to start this show. Oh, you know what? I need to get my other timer ready. Here's the thing, folks. You may have deduced this on your own by now, or maybe not. But I'll tell you a little secret. We have our own little timer on the back end here to try to keep us on track, or just let us know like how we're doing with time. 100% of the time, that timer just gets totally ignored by both of us. Just sort of like it's more of just a ritual at this point. It doesn't actually have any effect on the way we do the show. So there's a fun little insight. Grandpa Bear, what's up? Living in America 76. Okay, let's get this show started, folks.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is June 23rd, 2023. We are live to tape on episode 637, and today, Necrocapitalism. Buddy Basil.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films. Wife calls me the Cabana Boy, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomenon, network effects of reverse psychology.
Ooh. Wow, look at that.
Yeah,
but what an emergent phenomenon we will get to watch emerge as the phenomenon of this show.
Yes, I did it for you, Basil.
On the air. I really appreciate that. That makes me feel good. Sometimes, you know what, we're a couple of mavericks over here. We do what we want. We sort of give the illusion of conspiring to make this show what it is. But once in a while, we will actually concede to one another, and it's a beautiful moment. Speaking of beautiful moments, Gons, let's go ahead and give that disclaimer, baby.
Strategy, corporate law.
Oh my gosh. Let's start from the beginning.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
And let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Starting off, we'll be setting the stage with a little insight into our new favorite term, necrocapitalism. And then, of course, moving into some money news here, as JP Morgan Chase is fined by the SEC for, well, you know, the same thing everybody does, delete a lot of emails. What are they hiding? We'll find out. Then, related news, BlackRock, JP Morgan, the elites from around the world got together while we were all too distracted by a submarine that may or may not have been imploded by then. While we were all paying attention to under the sea happenings, the elites of the world got together, divvied up trillions of dollars when it comes to reestablishing Ukraine, building it back up after it has been rebelized. And then some big news we're just throwing into the show, folks. Big things happening in Russia as we speak right now, up to date, minute by minute. We will be exploring perhaps the historic turn of events we will see going on in Russia right now. Ooh, then we'll have a Flippy update. That'll be fun. And then, yes, this is what you've all been waiting for. Get ready to rumble. Elon and Zuckerberg getting ready to trade fisticuffs. We'll explore this memeable extravaganza. And then, of course, now that it's all wrapped up, we're going to go ahead and explore the timeline and what now has been revealed as perhaps almost a conspiratorial timing of the news about the Titan submersible. What are they hiding again? We will find out. At the end of the show, big news for Canary Cry listeners. We've been following this story for over a decade now. That's right. Lab-grown meat, baby. It's here, and it's here to stay. Okay, Guns. Well, with that, let's start with our lead stories.
All right. For our lead stories, we're going to talk about necrocapitalism because you got really stoked about it last episode.
I've been bragging about now owning the domain necrocapitalist.com.
Sure.
And everybody's very impressed.
Well, we don't have a jingle for necrocapitalism, so that's a call out for one.
Yet. Yes.
Yet. But
something
for today,
cool, something kind of spooky, but also has like maybe some money sounds in there.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'll just hit
cool.
I'll hit a really dissonant chord, and then you say necrocapitalism. We're doing a live, just cold turkey. We didn't rehearse this, nothing. Jingle for necrocapitalism. You ready?
Okay. Here, ready. Necrocapitalism. Show me the money.
All right.
That's pretty good.
No rehearsal, nothing yet.
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know we were going to do that.
I know.
Okay, what do you got? Tell me what you got. I'm glad. See, this again warms my heart. I got excited just about the phrase necrocapitalism. You went ahead and did some actual little research. Look at you go. This is why we're a good team.
Yeah, there's a thing called the internet. You know, you can put words in. It brings words back out. It's quite amazing. I went ahead and looked into
Russia.
That's true. I went ahead and looked into necrocapitalism a little bit, see if the word was used anywhere. And I found an article from Media Diversified, which we'll get into in just a second here. But in the article, it was titled "The End of Necrocapitalism, but Not Necessarily Capitalism," and this was published in November of 2017. So, yeah, so it's a little bit early, okay? So I'm going to get to some stuff. I don't
know. The end, I think it's just the beginning of necrocapitalism.
I don't think you're wrong about that. I'm just, I'm looking at who's talked about the topic. So in this article, this person here, Sunny Singh, who wrote this article, defines necrocapitalism as such: a form of capitalism where a country's trade and industry are founded on, linked to, and dependent directly or indirectly on death and the profits accruing from it. What do you think?
We're number one. We're number one. That's America, baby. USA.
Now,
USA.
The next sentence is pretty wild. In 2006, I began using necrocapitalism to describe USA's military-industrial complex and its expansion into sectors as diverse as insurance, medicine, leisure. 2006, Basil.
Yeah.
Am I crushing your world?
I was still in high school when this guy was talking about necrocapitalism.
He says, however, as I traced economic histories, theories, and practices, the foundation of our current economic model on slave trade, colonial wealth, and yes, death became clearer. Since then, necrocapitalism has evolved to denote wider practices of the current capitalist model. It now seems an apt term to describe an economic model that is collapsing and devouring itself, but that, given its foundational premise, could have had no other end. It goes into some stuff, and he's looking at a bunch of stuff that was going on in 2008 and free markets and blah, 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 blah. It just writes forever.
Yeah. It's the military-industrial complex wrapped up into one word.
Yeah, one part here. So what's next? The collapse of the Western capitalist model is near certain. There's also little evidence that should and when the economic centers shift to the global south, the new leaders will abide by the economic model as we know it. There may be familiar elements in whatever system that evolves, but we must shed outdated theories, especially when they ignore the implicit foundations of today's necro-capitalist model. So this guy was really getting into it. Now, okay.
This guy's he's a little pie in the sky, I think. He's underestimating how much life necro-capitalism really has still left in it.
So I went to the About Us because I'm like, who is this media diversified? And who is claiming that, 2006, this guy was talking about necrocapitalism? So I went to the About Us page, of course, as I would do. Media Diversified is a non-profit working to enrich, engage, and improve the UK's media landscape. The organization was founded in 2013 with the mission to challenge the homogeneity of voices in UK news media through addressing the underrepresentation of marginalized communities.
Okay.
Yeah. And specifically, the marginalized communities here is what's called BAME, B-A-M-E communities. Wild guess, Basil, what B-A-M-E stands for.
I could not guess because I already read what it does stand for.
Okay. Black, Asian, and I think it's Middle Eastern. No, it's mixed minority ethnicities, right? Yeah, yep. Minority ethnic, which it should be maybe Middle Eastern. But anyway.
Hey, the Asians got in there, though. They're usually ignored in sort of American social justice. The UK put Asians right there after blacks.
It's literally all it is just not white is the community. Yeah. Which, Basil, once again, the white man tries to take an idea from the colored man. There seems to be a pattern in history. What do you have to say for yourself with your purchase of necrocapitalist.com and your near future commercialization of the term?
I agree. I am not surprised. So the BAMEs, I'm sure, were practicing necrocapitalism before the U.S. came around.
That's like their own form of necrocapitalism too. Take the phrase.
I have a fun form of necrocapitalism I'll show you later on in the show.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I wanted to bring it up because the topic in general is of interest, especially to our show, because we talk about the world economy, the new world order, the one world economic system, all the stuff that's been not just prophesied, but certainly unfolding right before our eyes. And that brings us to some money news because, who wants to not talk about money? Now, this is I do have Epstein as part of the section here because of the fact that JP Morgan has some stuff with Epstein. But this is from Reuters, and the headline, JP Morgan Chase is fined by SEC after mistakenly deleting 47 million emails.
That's so many emails. That's
a lot of emails.
That's like what the Canary Cry inbox looks like sometimes when we don't get to checking it.
Yeah, we're definitely at least 47 million emails behind on returning our emails to everybody.
Yeah.
Here's what it says.
We'll get to them, folks. Don't worry.
Yep. JP Morgan Chase has been fined for $4 million. $4 million.
Chump change.
$4 million. Why is this
Nothing.
even news? By the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Ugh. Gary Gensler. After about 47 million emails belonging to its retail banking group were mistakenly and permanently deleted. The emails.
No, they weren't. Like, that's the thing that drives me nuts about this. Is like, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as permanently deleting emails. That's just, it's hogwash.
The emails dated from Jan 1 to April 23rd, 2018, and were deleted in June 2019 from about 8,700 mailboxes, including those belonging to as many as 7,500 employees who regularly worked with customers. Many of the emails were business records that the largest U.S. bank was required under SEC rules to keep for 3 years. Of course they were. Oh, man.
It's a good time for them to get in trouble for it. 4 years later.
Well, 4 years later and $4 million later, it's not really anything. This is literally the cost of business. There's a quote here. According to a cease and desist order, the vendor failed to properly apply the 3-year retention setting to Chase emails from early 2018. Quote, as a result, the troubleshooting exercise permanently deleted all of the emails in that domain from that period, which were not subject to legal holds, the order said.
Oh, is the IT guy. The IT guy messed up.
Yeah. JP Morgan, which is based in New York, did not admit or deny wrongdoing in agreeing to the civil settlement. It has adopted its own email coding procedures to avoid a recurrence. Yeah, blame it on the third party coming in with their code, messing up our record keeping. So
it just happens to be during investigations, not only with their connections to Epstein in recent years, but also I believe Hunter Biden's mixed up with a lot of this stuff too.
Yeah, they seem to bank, familiar people to the familiar rich.
The real rascally lizard people.
Right. So, it just, it's kind of like, okay. Well, here's the thing. We've talked about BlackRock quite a bit for many months on this show because, we talked a lot about ESG last year. We weren't the only show doing it, obviously. But, it was really the formation of all this New World Order stuff that we've been talking about for so many years. Rubber meeting the road, a dashboard that measures your carbon, blah, 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 your environmental impact, your social impact. That's why I think, what was it? What company was it that had a better ESG score than Tesla? It was like a cigarette company or something, right? Because they're more woke or whatever. So anyway, it's a problem.
I think it was Shell. I think it was an oil company.
Was it? Okay. It was one of these companies that aren't necessarily
right.
Let's see. Hold on. Okay. All right. So let's get into a little bit of the background here with BlackRock because they have something to do with JP Morgan.
BlackRock is a financial giant. It's the largest investor on planet Earth.
Yes, they are. And according to the visualization of BlackRock's top equity holdings, this is from visualcapitalist.com, maybe a friend to necrocapitalist.com in the future, perhaps. The visuals and the necros getting together.
Yeah.
It's a giant graph. It's a visual graph, as stated. And it's a big circle, and it has, the different shares, the equity holdings, the top 25 in BlackRock's portfolio. The two largest being Apple and Microsoft. Interesting that they hold both, It's not one or the other. It's both. You got NVIDIA in there. But also in there is JP Morgan. JP Morgan under finance is they have $25 billion worth, which is, I think I calculated, I forget what it was. Did I put it in my notes? I did. It was about 6% of the company's market cap. So BlackRock owns about 6% of JP Morgan, in a sense, crudely.
Of course.
Of course. And the other interesting thing with this chart, Meta, Zuckerberg, and Tesla, Elon Musk, both owned by BlackRock, which means that whole, thing we'll get to with Elon versus Mark Zuckerberg might be a BlackRock sponsored event without knowing it, without actually being upfront about it. So, okay, we'll get back to that. But moving on here, let's hear more from BlackRock. Now, BlackRock, this is from MainWire.com. And, this is just a note because, James O'Keefe, Basil, the whole situation with Veritas, and they kicked him out, and there was all that drama going on with James O'Keefe. Well, he's back. He's back, baby. He's back with OMG, O'Keefe Media Group. Have you checked out? Have you subscribed? Have you dove into?
I see it floating around though. He's still going, still trying to keep his game going.
Yeah. So he his most recent bombshell: BlackRock employee caught on tape bragging about how the company can run the world, and it's your usual Project Veritas style thing with the confrontation. I don't even think it's necessary to play the clips because it's, whatever. It just is what it is.
It was entertaining. It was again done with a catfish, not a catfishing, but a honeypot scam.
Right, like a date
and this
thing,
kid went on a date and said a bunch of stuff, trying to show off to his date. And, this is the one problem. The one problem with the James O'Keefe model is and almost everything that he actually gets out of people is stuff that you already know if you're paying attention. Yeah, BlackRock runs the world. They buy politicians. All of this stuff. And it is, I'll say this, it is nice having them say it out loud. Yeah. It's nice, but it's not sort of revelatory.
Right. Yeah, well, that's his whole shtick. So I'm not going to really
he's bringing value.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, on top of that, and again, we'll have the links to all that James O'Keefe stuff if you want to check it out. It's in the show notes. But more importantly, I think BlackRock. This is from Financial Times, and I have another one from I think Business World or something. BlackRock and JP Morgan help set up Ukraine Reconstruction Bank. Now, we've known that BlackRock was supposed to help with the reconstruction. We heard about this, 6 months ago, and we were like, really? You guys are already talking reconstruction, and we're in the midst of this crazy war, supposedly, right? But yeah, BlackRock and JP Morgan, of course, because JP Morgan is under the wing of BlackRock, are helping the Ukrainian government set up a reconstruction bank to steer public seed capital into rebuilding projects that can attract hundreds of billions of dollars in private investments. And the idea here, the Ukraine Development Fund remains in the planning stages and is not expected to fully launch until the end of the hostilities with Russia. And that's what's kind of funny. First of all, they talk about how I think it's like about $400 million or billion. I'm sorry, $400 billion that is expected to rebuild. This is not part of the money that's been sent for like weapons and all that kind of stuff. Right. What's that count at? Like 200 billion or something? More than that?
That's a 200 billion. That's interesting, that number 400 billion, because I had heard up to $1 trillion to rebuild Ukraine.
I think that's part of the profit model here. Give us a little bit and we'll make sure you'll make it back and some. And so the business world,
a large portion of which, by the way, is our tax dollars.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yes, we are rebuilding Ukraine through BlackRock. Yay. America. So
Necrocapitalism, baby.
Necrocapitalism, that's right. So businessworld.in, it's an Indian outlet here, had pretty much the same article, but there was a couple other things that I wanted to point out. And one in particular here, let's see, let me try to find it. I think it's at the very end. Currently Ukraine is focused on creating the necessary structure, governance, and operational procedures. Most investors prefer to wait until hostilities cease before committing funds. Stephen Wheeler stated, quote, "The important part is that Ukraine is really thinking about the future. When the war is over, they will want to be ready and start the rebuilding process right away, end quote. Huh, okay. BlackRock is really, and to open a bank is the most shady thing you can do. Just thinking about how
several layers. Now you're talking about
layers.
several layers of banks. And the idea is that they can get people all over the world to put their money into the Ukrainian Recovery Bank or whatever. And then they, use it to give loans to rebuild Ukraine, which tons of people are going to be doing. And this all was decided on June 21st and 22nd. So this was right smack dab while everybody was distracted with the submarine. The elites get together and they sort of all decide that it's time to make some money. It's time to make some money on this Ukraine deal.
Listen to this
now,
though.
Interesting thing. Just real quick. Interesting thing. This Ukraine Recovery Conference is actually it's been around since 2017. It used to be called Ukraine Reform Conference. I'm just getting this right off their website right now. URC-international.com. They started this conference as Ukraine Reform Conference in 2017. They have it every year. And lo and behold, it's about time to rename it Ukraine Recovery Conference. And everybody who's been involved for, 6 years now, has finally gotten together and all figured out how to make money on it. It's almost as if for 6 years, these same companies have been getting together talking about Ukraine. Remember, in 2017, when there was no reason to talk about Ukraine, really, I don't know. It's just very suspicious.
Yeah, well, I think there's a little bit of a tell here in this article because if you scroll down, let's see, I had it ready a moment ago. Both BlackRock and JP Morgan are offering their services as donations, which will provide them with early insights into potential investments in Ukraine. This assignment further strengthens JP Morgan's relationship with Ukraine as a long-standing customer, as the bank has facilitated over $25 billion in sovereign debt for the country since 2010 and led the restructuring of its $20 billion debt last year. So they're already all snug in there, man. This is just BlackRock coming in, giving it some steroids, just. This
has been going on since 2013, 2014, before Victoria Nuland showed up and they collapsed, the Ukrainian government and put Zelensky in. This has always been the plan.
Yeah. So the the key thing with all these investment funds, and the article goes on and talks about how they want stuff from all the different governments also, governments from around the world can pitch in, especially the West, and you're part of NATO. It's almost like a duty, right? You can't not pitch into Ukraine. Also private investments, and one of them was, let's see, I think it was, oh boy, I had it and I lost it. Oh no. Oh, here we go. Public and private investors. Oh no, that's not it. Shoot. I lost it. Oh well. It had something to do with basically more private institutions and family, sovereign funds and stuff like that.
No, yeah, this is the thing. It's the opportunity for the elites of the world to put their money into the next huge. This is a money-making operation. That's why Ukraine was destroyed in the first place, is because you make money destroying it via military-industrial complex, and then everybody can come in and make money rebuilding it.
Right. Here it is.
It's necrocapitalism, baby.
The aim would be to make these opportunities appealing to pension funds, long-term investors, and lenders. JP Morgan's expertise in debt played a key role in its involvement in the project. So, man, it's funny. So, yeah, it's like, hey, all these places, right? These pension funds, they're probably looking at it going, well, we don't want to just like hand out money yet. We need that war to, we want things to calm down before we start writing, signing checks, which.
Well, this is the beautiful part about it, is setting up the bank. It's the banality of evil. Okay. It's the boring it's really the superpower of our necrocapitalist system is it's so boring.
Yeah.
Because the money-making opportunity here, you get the war, the military-industrial complex makes all their money that way, but then rebuilding it makes a ton of money also, but it's through plugging it into the already super boring financial system.
Yeah.
It's pension funds. It's, hedge funds. It's an investment opportunity. You'll be able to just go on Robinhood and purchase, shares or whatever of the reconstruction bank. And you are participating.
You're a good person if you do that. Maybe a tax write-off.
Final act. Oh my gosh! Can you imagine the ESG score for this reconstruction bank?
Yeah, we should do it just for the ESG score. Just to do, hey, we hold that BlackRock, Black Goo Rock stock. Yeah, the Ukraine thing.
That's the thing. It's a beautiful system that they've created, but it's only beautiful if you're not the one getting murdered in the wars they create.
Right.
And you got to have enough money to come in and help rebuild and make $1 jillion.
Which leads us to the whole conflict, which is going through some stuff right now.
Fight for Ukraine, new world order.
Russia.
Yeah, so this is crazy. I mean, this is just happening today. It's happening literally live. For the sake of the show, we're going to the New York Times because this was the fun part. You could see this situation developing on Twitter and on Telegram and on, in the weird little spots where you have to verify stuff. You can't just, it's, of course, you got troll farms, you got people with unsubstantiated claims. You've got stuff that's really hard to sift through. But in this case, the New York Times actually caught on or whatever and started giving some live updates. And what's happening right now is, so we know that the Wagner Group, which is a mercenary company, which Putin was paying, or Russia was paying to fight a large portion of the war in Ukraine. Over the past few weeks, there's been trouble in paradise, Gons, where the Wagner Group and Putin and everybody is very mad at each other. The Wagner Group, what's this guy's name? Sheboygan or something? That's not it. Give me a second. Prigozhin. Prigozhin is the leader of this mercenary group that's been fighting for Russia. And, these had complaints for months, maybe even a year now, about how Russia is not giving them enough ammunition. Russia is just throwing them into a meat grinder. The military brass in Russia don't, respect the mercenaries and are throwing them into dangerous situations, blah, blah, blah. A lot of tension between Wagner and the Russian military establishment. Well, turns out Wagner's had enough. He's out of here. Prigozhin has turned his soldiers around, marching out of Ukraine and back into Russia. And not only that, it looks like there is a legit coup is going on. Wagner was making some threats on Telegram, talking about how he's gonna, they were kind of veiled threats. He never said anything about Putin directly. His gripes are more with what's his name, Shoigu or something, Shoigun, who is the defense minister, the sort of politician in charge of the army, and this other fellow. And so he put out some statements. This is Prigozhin, the Wagner guy, talking about, hey, I'm turning around. I am marching into Russia, and I am going to... He's basically doing a coup as we speak. There are Wagner soldiers marching from Ukraine. They crossed the border into Russia. They entered some Russian cities. And it's just crazy. I can I'm going to go back just a little bit. Right now, New York Times is doing it in sort of a timeline update sort of system, kind of like their own Twitter feed here. And so it comes in little snippets every few minutes. They'll put in updates or whatever. At one point here, let's see, Prigozhin has issued a new voice recording on Telegram messaging platform. He says his fighters are approaching the city of Rostov-on-Don, which is in southern Russia, near Ukraine, and adds, quote, "We are going further. We will go to the end." There's no confirmation that Prigozhin's forces are actually approaching. Next update here. We've got, the ruble fell. That's unfortunate. Sorry, ruble. Where's the one here? White House officials. Oh, this is great. White House officials say they are following the events in Russia, but will not say much more. Quote, "We are monitoring the situation and will be consulting with allies and partners on these developments," said Adam Hodge, National Security Council spokesman. The FSB is getting involved. That's the modern version of the KGB, and they're putting out statements to the Russian people. At one point, there was a hack of Russian television stations where the news station went down, and it just started playing messages from Prigozhin, talking about, how the Russian military is inadequate and they're just making money and it's corrupt and we're taking them down. It's seriously hardcore over there.
This is the whole movie's unfolding in Russia.
It's happening, dystopian. And it's literally been, just the past few hours this has started happening. Now, let's see here. There was a point, I'm looking for the update, but there's so many of them now. There was a point when Russian military scrambled some jets and some helicopters to go shoot at Wagner as they're marching towards Moscow. And Russian Air Force pilots are refusing to shoot on Wagner mercenaries who are just Russian citizens. They don't want to shoot their own citizens. So you've got the Air Force refusing to follow orders. I guess at one point there was a report that a helicopter did start shooting at the Wagner Group and then got shot down almost immediately. Let's see here. Oh, Russia is scrambling tanks and military units in Moscow to take defensive positions. It's just hardcore, man. And it's happening right as we speak. And here's the thing with mercenaries, folks. Mercenaries are business people. And what do business people want? Profit.
Money.
And I have a strong suspicion that this is not some ideological revenge on Putin for being rude to him during the war, or maybe not even Putin, just the Shoigun and the other generals being mean to Prigozhin, the mercenary. I have a feeling that if the mercenaries are turning their backs on the Ukraine war and heading towards Moscow for a coup, sounds like somebody is paying them to do it.
It sounds like somebody like, I don't know, Black Goo Rock, maybe print some money,
Sounds like Wagner got a better offer, and the offer was too good to pass up. And so they turned around and said, okay, we'll just take out Russia. we'll just march to Moscow.
I'm sure there was a conversation first, though, like, hey, BlackRock, the Necrocapitalist Council is telling us that they'll give us, an extra bonus on top of everything else. Can you match it?
I think the timing is really interesting, Gons, because we just wrapped up the Ukraine Recovery Conference where JP Morgan and BlackRock manages $20 trillion of assets.
Trillion.
So they're the richest organization on the entire planet, at least practically. And the day after they wrap up their conference about who gets what when rebuilding Ukraine, all the money comes pouring in. We now need the war to end, or else, because we got to wait. Nobody's going to make investments if the war is still on, like in the article you just read. You got to wait till the conflict is over, and then you can start the profiteering of the rebuilding process. The day after they make the bank that is going to make all the money on reconstruction, the day after, Prigozhin, the mercenary, turns around and starts attacking Russia. I have a feeling that BlackRock had
gave him a bank account.
Exactly. A little bit of extra pocket change.
Here's your password.
Yeah, exactly.
Log in, check out what we got for you there.
Gave him a free checking account at the new Ukrainian Recovery Bank, and he looked at his account balance and said, "Yeah, sure, I will march to Moscow. I will end this war." Now, whether or not, and here's why I really think it is a money play, whether or not Wagner can actually go to Moscow and dethrone Putin, or they were Prigozhin was calling for hanging Shoigun, the defense minister in Russia. I mean, they're serious business. But whether or not he can actually topple, the Putin regime, almost doesn't matter, because now Russia has to deal with a military coup on their own land. And, that's going to suck up a bunch of soldiers, it's going to suck up a bunch of resources. They got to focus on defense of the homeland. They're going to be, ostensibly, you'd have to pull out of Ukraine to go defend Moscow.
And think of the propaganda regime and what they're going to be communicating to the masses. It's just a mess. And also, one of the things that was interesting in this list was how the FSB normally is quiet. Now they're making all these announcements, and
they don't make public announcements,
right? So it's almost like bringing them to the front, because I think we're in this age right now where, as Manly P. Hull said, the corruption is going to get exposed. So it's almost like, no matter what country, the corruption is being exposed. The institutions that really were pulling the strings have to come to center stage with the spotlight on them, just so everyone knows that, but it's almost like BlackRock is doing it, like forcing Russia's hand to do that, they don't want them. No intelligence agency wants to be the center of attention, but the CIA has gotten hammered the last year or two, really. I mean, it's been longer than that in terms of the actual facts about stuff, but just in the last couple of years, the sentiment has really shifted. So it's interesting. It's an interesting intel war.
We knew they were wrapping up the war. Yeah. We knew that it couldn't go on for much longer because we needed to focus on Taiwan. We knew they were just itching for the moment to start making money on rebuilding Ukraine. And the day after they got all the money together and they got all the bank accounts going,
they got the infrastructure for the money,
exactly.
They're ready to go.
The day after they got the money together, surprise, surprise, the mercenary group, Soldiers for Profit, turn around and do a complete 180 to go at least make it impossible for Russia to continue, waging an effective war in Ukraine, at least.
Do you think this will be a video game one day? The Prigozhin Chronicles.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's kind of like The Mandalorian.
It's a pretty good movie. Yeah.
Just go where you go, exactly. Go where you are needed. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we've been, we've all been feeling the turning of the tide for months now, and the focus on China, the focus on Taiwan, et cetera, et cetera. And this could be the first step to actually shifting the sort of globalist elite master plan to get onto the phase 2 and make some money while they do it.
Well, Joe Biden was right.
Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. We will build Babylon better. This time, a new world order.
And interestingly, Trump was right too.
We will launch a new age.
And they're both kind of right, if whatever context you want to put that in. But in any case, all right. What is today? Today is a day.
It's Friday, baby.
Friday. That's right. All right, here we go. Friday.
It's Friday.
There you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
We're gonna learn today.
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got
Are you not entertained? It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yep.
It's Friday, folks. It's we made it one more week. It's an exciting weekend. Who knows? By Monday, there might not be a Russia.
Whoa, that clip right there. If on Monday We have
called shot.
Ukraine all of a sudden has taken over Russia entirely. Then
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, but the White House's silence is an interesting part of it.
That's true.
But yeah, it's the end of the week, and you are continuing to fight the good fight of getting the new office set up. How's that going?
It's a crawl. It's a slow, meticulous, challenging thing, and as you know, it's much later than we normally go live, and we're trying to work out a babysitter and all that kind of stuff. It's a process. Definitely a process, and it's stressful.
Yes,
as you witnessed, Basil, before the show.
Freaking out, guys. He is
got a little loose
his
there
over this whole thing.
I'm glad everything is still up, held together. Threw
Stay
some things
strong.
around.
You're putting on a strong face, and I'm very very appreciative and proud of you for that.
Yeah, I will say there was something that just real quick. There was a story out about how math scores across America are at a 13-year low.
Right.
Where it's just the lowest math. And there's a quote in here. So there was a difference by race, okay? Students from almost every race and ethnicity saw math scores slide, but the steepest drops were among American Indian students. I thought that was interesting, at 20 points.
That is interesting.
Black students at 13 points. The decline for white students, by comparison, was 6 points, while Asian students held even. Held even, baby. Drop the education system down the tube, and the Asians are like, we got this. We're going to hold steady.
That's very impressive. Yeah.
There you go. That's just my moment of joy.
Impressive.
Meaningless joy. Meaningless joy. Okay.
You know what? It's not meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to me, but there's something there.
Well, it does mean that your kind are second, right?
That's true. But we always have been, haven't we?
Hey, this podcast at least employs the top two in that list. The least
that's
dropped,
a good point.
6% and even. There you go.
We're so diverse around here.
Very racist.
Okay. I had an exciting thing happen yesterday.
Yeah, you did. Very
okay. So
rated R.
Here's an update. Here's an update on the puppies. All right. Puppies got the puppies. The puppies are cute. They're doing a great job, hardening up for the hard life of a farm dog.
Are you training it? Great. Do you have like a gravity room, making them do push-ups and stuff?
I'm working on it. Yes, I'm doing some training. The simple stuff: sit, stay, don't eat that chicken.
You don't have cardboard coyotes popping out of corners yet? See how they react?
No, not yet.
Okay,
it's mostly avoiding getting headbutted by the goats right now. Is kind of the big one.
All right.
But part of this training is called perimeter training. You ever done perimeter training?
Me, no.
So, yeah. So this is a farm dog thing, perimeter training. You're teaching them sort of, where the perimeter, the boundaries that they are supposed to kind of stay in, but also the boundaries they're supposed to defend. And it's a long process. It takes forever, but I got them started on it. So every morning, got to take these puppies on a walk around the perimeter of the whole place, and they're doing very good. They are mostly avoiding getting stuck in barbed wire, which is very impressive for these cute little dummies. But what happened, this was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, yesterday, was I was making it. I was about 80% around the perimeter and came up upon the biggest rattlesnake that I have ever seen. This thing was humongous. You know what? I didn't send you a picture of the actual snake, did I?
You sent me video.
I sent you the video. Are you able to get that video?
You want me to show the video?
No,
we had this conversation that it may not be appropriate for.
I think, it's. Oh, that's right. The animal cruelty thing. We could actually get.
We can get.
We could get.
We might get an email
YouTube.
from PETA or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, the biggest rattlesnake I'd ever seen.
So the puppies don't know any better. They're kind of stupid and they don't realize I'm trying to, call them, get them out of the way. They're getting close to the giant rattlesnake. He's curling up, he's rattling. So I run over, I pick up the dogs and kind of throw, we were by the emu cage. So I threw them into the emu cage.
Oh boy.
And, or pen or whatever. And took it. So I told you about my coyote hole punch device. And turns out, when you're walking out on the perimeter, I also carry around my snake hole punch device. It's not quite a snake hole punch device. It's more of like a snake obliterator. But I had that on my hip and I was about 10 feet away and took aim and shot the snake's head off. And when I say shot the snake's head off, I do not mean I shot the snake's head. It was the coolest shot that I have ever done or perhaps even seen in real life. Shot the snake's neck at the perfect location that the snake's head just goes flying. And fun thing about snakes, they're when they're decapitated, their nerves are still firing and everything's still moving. You can still
the audio. Maybe I'll just play the audio over my phone or something into the mic because the audio was great.
That's fine. I sent you two. I think it's fine.
I think so. I don't think you say anything derogatory.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
I got the first one here. Let's see.
Go ahead.
Huge boy. Good shot.
Oh, that's the first one. Yeah. Huge boy.
Huge boy. Yeah.
That snake is about 4, maybe 4.5 feet long and as thick or thicker than a water bottle. I mean, it was like I was picking him up, playing around. I ended up skinning the snake. I got his skin is right now sitting in the solution for preservation. And I have this cool thing.
Oh yeah, here. Let me go full screen for you so people can see. Yeah.
I did shoot the snake's head off. And I went ahead and tried my hand at preserving the snake's head in this jar of alcohol and glycerin. So if you're watching there's the snake is my first attempt at a little bit of taxidermy. Had to get his mouth nice and open and big. Scary. You can see his teeth in there. Got his tongue hanging out. But I officially now have a trophy, a snakehead trophy, which is kind of fun.
Sure.
Then I spent the rest of the day hunting more snakes because I thought, well, if there's that gigantic one, maybe there's a smaller one. Ended up getting 2 snakes that day. And pretty much the whole day turned into watching YouTube videos on how to skin and preserve snake skin. And that's what I did.
If that's all over YouTube, I don't know that your videos are terrible, but here's the other one here, the audio anyway. You can explain what's happening afterwards. The body's moving around.
Oh yeah. So you're watching the snake
head's right there.
body.
Not gonna get too far without your head, sir.
You're not gonna get too far without your head, sir.
Being a little rascal. Yes, you can see the snake body kind of slithering around as if it were still alive. The snake head was still biting. I had my little snake stick. If you touch the head, it like bites. It was very intense. And so anyways, that was fun. I see people wondering if I have the judge. No, I actually went with the Smith & Wesson governor, similar to the judge, just Smith & Wesson. Takes a little bit shorter of a round, not the 3-inch 410s, but the 2.5, which is fine. But yes, that's the snake shooter I used. So that was exciting. So soon I'll see what I can make with the snake skin. Maybe a belt. Maybe I'll put snake skin around my my VR headset. Ooh, that's a fun one.
Well, there's a verse in the Bible, early Genesis 3:15, and it says, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. he shall bruise your head and you shall bruise his heel. And, you know, the whole idea, there's like drawings of Jesus stepping on a serpent head and stuff like that. But with the Basil translation edition, it's a little more graphic, I suppose.
A little bit more graphic.
Yeah. Your interpretation of this is blow his head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Separate from body.
I was shocked. I mean, look, there's a phenomenon called first shot luck, which is whenever you shoot something, your first shot is always the most awesome. And then every time you try to do it again, it doesn't go well. It took me 3 shots to get the next snake. But the first one was pretty much the coolest shot I've ever had. So I had to keep the trophy.
Well, congratulations, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Now
it was
a
fun.
true outdoor rattlesnake murderer, which is legal in your place and mine. I looked it up and made sure. And yes, you are. You're in the clear.
It is actually illegal. It's illegal to kill rattlesnakes in some states. That's crazy. All right. So there you go. There's my fun story from yesterday.
Okay.
The puppies are fine. They're okay. They're doing a great job. And with that, you know who else is doing a great job, Gons? It's our executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. If you didn't know, now you know. We're on the value for value system. We don't take any corporate money whatsoever. Why would you want corporations deciding if your media survives or not? Instead, value for value system. If you get any value from this show, put some value back in. And the value can be in the form of your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to show the show. Get involved, really. It's a family affair. It is not just Gons and I's show. We could not do it without the producers. And the producers lately account for still less than 1% of the listeners, which, look, that is the 1% that are keeping the show alive. And we all owe them a debt of gratitude. But, man, what would happen if we could get that to 1.2% of people supporting the show? Can you even imagine? I know. So anyways, we always encourage people to pray about it, think about it, consider what the show means to them, what kind of value it brings to their life. Maybe you just like hearing cool stories about me shooting snakes. I can keep them coming. Maybe you get educated on some topics, some scholarly concepts that you have not encountered before. Perhaps you trust us to bring you the news and to question authority in a way that helps us see past the narrative crafting sort of industry that is paid to control your mind. No matter what value this show brings to your life, consider producing the show. You can do that by going to canarycry.support. And the executive producers we're very thankful for, because they come in for $100 or more for a single episode, and that's why we thank them here at the top of the show. And today, this is good. This worked out good, Gons, because, well, you'll see why. Our executive producer for episode, 637?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Is executive producer Maureen M.
Maureen M., thank you very much.
Yes, and I believe Maureen M. came in for around $133.33 plus fees, which is very nice. And Maureen sent a note here that says, "Blessings to the best news analysis team with a biblical edge, bar none. So glad you're back." Well, thank you very much. I am back, happy to be here. And Maureen M., executive producer, thank you very much.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Maureen M.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's more, because Maureen M. was on an executive producer streak while I was gone, made it to the level of Dame, and we have been so frazzled recently we kept forgetting to Dame Maureen. So let's just do that right now, baby. And for those who don't know, the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames is an elite squadron
of producers of the show who have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. And that could be over time. It could be all at once. Everybody's got their own pace. But whenever you hit that $1,000 mark, it is time for you to take your seat at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And that's what we're going to do now. I am just scrolling to figure out what the Dame name is for Dame Maureen. I now have it. That is excellent. And anything to say, Gons, before we get going?
Well, I'm going to pull my katana out for this one. I can't show it because it's sacred katana. So you have your sword?
Yeah, I'll use the snake shooter today.
Okay.
It sounds a lot like a sword. There it is.
Really weird sounding.
Yeah, it's a really weird one. I know. It's a special edition. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we want to call up Maureen M. That's executive producer Maureen M. to you. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Dame Maureen, Lady of the Appalachian Hills, House, Fountain of Living Water. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom-fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiated salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and, of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute cuddlies for kitties. And if you're hungry, we have Fancy Feast, Wet Food, Cosmo the CRISPR cow, and, of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, Dame Maureen, Lady of the Appalachian Hills, House of the Fountain of Living Water. And the crowd goes wild. Yes, very exciting to have another Dame at the round table. It'd been a while. I kind of was tripping over those words. I'm not practiced up on the knighting and the daming.
Yeah, should have done some of those the exercises before we went live,
Yellow leather, red leather,
lips,
yellow
the
leather,
teeth, the tip of the tongue.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much, executive producer Dame Maureen M. And yeah, I think that is our, as of now, our one and only executive producer for today. So that's a very special thing to do there. I'm just going to do a quick refresh just in case anybody came in and wanted to make it at the executive producer level at the correct time of the show, and it does not look to be the case. So there we go.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to mention, we have not mentioned in quite some time, is the text message alert system.
Yes.
Yes, if you'd like to receive text messages before we go live, we send one out just right before each show, just to remind you that we're going live. A lot of people like it. There's hundreds of people on this list. And if you would like to be on the list, you can go to canarycry.party. You'll see a button to join up. Or you can text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I just did it from memory.
Good job.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
877-740-3226. You'll just get on the list. We don't even take your name. We don't take any personal information, because why would we need to? Because we're not selling it, and we're not renting it, and we're not monetizing that in any way, which, if we had an accountant, they would not be very happy with, but that's not what it's about. So there you go. You can get on the text message alert system.
Cool. Sounds good. Are we moving on here? We got Flippy.
I'm ready if you are. Oh, yes. We forgot to nail down the Flippy. We're doing the one I highlighted.
Yes, I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We talk about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from TechCrunch.com, and the headline is DeepMind's RoboCat
learns to perform a range of robotic tasks. That's right, Guns.
Yay,
you heard that
Robocats.
correctly. DeepMind's RoboCat. Now listen up, folks. It's all going to make sense. DeepMind says that it has developed an AI model called RoboCat that can perform a range of tasks across different models of robotic arms. That alone isn't especially novel, but DeepMind claims that the model is the first to be able to solve and adapt to multiple tasks and do so using different real-world robots. Quote, "We demonstrate that a single large model can solve a diverse set of tasks on multiple real robotic embodiments and can quickly adapt to new tasks and embodiments." Alex Lee, a research scientist at DeepMind and co-contributor on the team behind RoboCat, told TechCrunch in an email interview. RoboCat, which was inspired by Gato, a DeepMind AI model that can analyze and act on text, images, and events, was trained on images and actions, data collected from robots, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. We all know what's going on with these things.
Yeah, it's important to point out robotics both in simulation and real life. So, yeah.
Right, yeah, good point. It's got real life experience rather than just digital simulations. The data, Lee says, came from a combination of other robot controlling models inside of virtual environments, human controlling robots, and previous iterations of RoboCat itself.
RoboCat.
So, if you're not up to date on maybe all the fancy jargon that's going on here, Flippy, the robot arm, needs software. And usually each Flippy has kind of its own software. It's something that robotic arm people like to brag about. But Google, DeepMind, has created RoboCat, which is a single large, large model. What are they called? Large language model, AI software that can inhabit multiple different models of robotic arms. So one AI that can be plugged in to a plethora of robots. Now, Gons, I think that there's something to be said about the fact that they are putting an AI called RoboCat inside of robotic arms. I can see an apocalyptic future where Flippy takes over the world simply by pushing things off of tables again and again and again. If RoboCat has any similarity to regular cats, living cats, God's cats, then it will have an obsession with pushing things off of tables. I think this is a mistake on Google's part. I think they are, out of all the possible robot apocalypses, putting the mind of a cat inside of the robot arms, responsible for, manufacturing things, making drinks. They got the robotic arm barista. They got the bartender. We're going to lose trillions of dollars in shattered glassware as the cat continues to push things off of tables.
It's part of the conspiracy. You got to break things so the 3D printers can have something to do. Something to
that's right. Sort of a planned obsolescence type of thing.
Right.
You got to continue to break glasses, or else the robots and their impressive ability to not knock over glasses will put the glass industry out of business.
Yeah.
Maybe this is all, conspiracized by big, glass industry. Anyways, so they're putting the brain of a AI cat inside of all of the Flippies. And I think this is the most dangerous thing we could possibly do.
Well, the thing that I found interesting about this was that, it doesn't matter what kind of robot, it can kind of go in. It's almost like you can picture the software itself being a malleable black goo that can just go in and form into whatever shape. Like, is it a two-pronged robot hand? Sure, it knows how to. Is it a finger hand with multiple joints and stuff? Sure, it can learn that too. It's almost like it's like a black goo that can just go into any robot and learn how it operates. It's pretty.
RoboCat must be like water. Fill the shape. You get it. Where was I going? There's one more point here to be made, and I'm gonna remember it in just a moment, which is, oh no. What was the last point? Wait, let me read something. Entertain everybody, Gons.
Lest robot cat be heralded as the end-all be-all of robot controlling AI models, its success rate across tasks varied drastically in DeepMind's testing, from 13% on the low end to 99% on the high end. Wow, that's a big range.
They did a great job. Yeah. So while most AI takes thousands and thousands and thousands of training iterations to learn a task, RoboCat learns in sometimes under 100.
Yeah.
So that's very impressive.
Yeah.
But, in the world where we are spending our time, Gons, our precious time on this podcast, hoping to shine light into the dark places, we've talked about the robot apocalypse. We've talked about what that might look like. Is it slow? Does it simply turn humans into sort of old-timey relics, useless and supported by universal basic income, just to be replaced by the robots? Do they come marching down the streets, RoboCop style, to take us out one by one? Do they work their way into our homes by pretending to be cute pets like Spot the Flippy dog? And then, slowly lock us all in freezers or something. I don't know. But if you're putting one element of possible robotic futures is the concept of Skynet. And if you are developing one AI to rule them all, to inhabit any robotic body, they call it embodiment. I mean, talk about some sort of demon cat going around.
It just goes, it goes into different bodies and can operate.
Possessing. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do. It is much more of a Skynet situation. And even worse, it's a Skynet cat. Imagine if your cat at home, folks, could inhabit hundreds or thousands, unlimited embodiments of robots, big and small, whether it be one arm or, a big spider robot, like the one you can wear on your back and make you look very fashionable. If they're all being controlled by the same RoboCat, surely we are all doomed.
Well, maybe it brings a whole nother level to this idea of cats having 9 lives. Maybe your cat is experiencing 9 separate robot entities from around the world.
It's possible.
And, it doesn't even know which cat is the real cat anymore.
Yeah, this is a great movie. And I'm definitely very excited about its release. And so there you go, folks. Watch out for RoboCat coming to every robot near you.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
Who should we tickle next?
I am not a lizard.
Oh, boy. I think
this
the world
is hilarious.
The clown world has arrived. TheVerge.com headline: Mark Zuckerberg is ready to fight Elon Musk in a cage match. A tech billionaire brawl for the ages that needs to happen.
This is the most bizarre thing that might actually for real happen.
I don't think it's that bizarre. Maybe I'm way too jaded, but I don't know.
You don't think it's going to happen?
No. I do think it's going to happen, but it's not. I don't see it as a big deal. I don't know. It's just anyway.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's not.
Okay, tell the people what's going on.
Okay, well, here we go. Actually says that. Here we go. That's the first line of the article here. After Elon Musk recently tweeted that he would be up for a cage fight with Zuckerberg, the Meta CEO shot back by posting a screenshot of Musk's tweet with the caption, "Send me location." Now, this article, not great, because this article omits a part of the story here. This all unfolded on Twitter and obviously Instagram for the Zuckerberg side. So I'm just going to flip over real quick to a tweet by Mario Nawfal. He hosts a bunch of Twitter spaces, and he posted this yesterday: Musk versus Zuckerberg cage fight, how I accidentally caused it. 2 days ago, I tweeted about Meta's competitor to Twitter called Threads. I took a few jabs at Meta, then referenced their chief product officer, saying how they've, quote, Been hearing from creators and public figures who are interested in having a platform that is sanely run, end quote. Elon saw the tweet and promptly responded facetiously by saying, quote, I'm sure Earth can't wait to be exclusively under Zuck's thumb with no other options. At least it will be sane. Was worried there for a moment. Sweaty, smiley, laughy emoji, end quote. The Twitter user responded to Elon's comment by saying, quote, better be careful, Elon Musk. I heard Zuckerberg does jujitsu now. To which Elon replied, quote, I'm up for a cage match if he is, LOL, end quote. As if this call out by Elon wasn't enough, Zuckerberg responded to Elon's challenge via his Instagram story by saying, quote, send me location, referencing the famous quote from MMA fighter Khabib when he called out Conor McGregor. See, those little references like that don't make sense when you're reading the Verge article. You don't get the cultural references. Verge, come on.
Okay.
We now have additional information about the potential bout. Location, Vegas. It will be fought in an octagon, UFC style. Potential referee, Joe Rogan. Andrew Tate.
Gosh.
Andrew Tate has offered to train Elon in preparation for the fight.
Oh my gosh.
UFC president Dana White claims he spoke to both Elon and Zuckerberg, and both are, quote, dead serious. While Zuckerberg has experience in jiu-jitsu and MMA, Elon undeniably has the physical advantage over Zuck. So Musk versus Zuck. I do think it's going to happen.
Why does Elon Musk have the physical advantage
He's
over
bigger.
Zuckerberg?
He's much bigger. Zuckerberg's like 5'8", I want to say 160, something like that. He's a smaller dude. Elon's like 6'2", 210 or something. He's got a longer reach. He's bigger. It would be like me and you fighting, Basil, to be honest.
Yeah. But Zuckerberg is sort of
he's trained,
famously super into MMA. Like he's been training for at least some years.
A few years. He's black belt, right? I thought he was a black belt.
I don't remember. I mean, he talked about it in his talk with Joe Rogan, whether or not that was just like a PR thing or not. But allegedly, Zuckerberg has been like training MMA for quite some time. Musk is also 51 years old and Zuckerberg is 39. Not that that's the sort of most important thing, but I don't know. A scrappy little guy who's been training in MMA could totally take down somebody bigger than him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, if he gets some training from Andrew Tate, who's got his own problems right now.
Everywhere that I look, people are sort of repeating and insisting that this is not a joke. Yeah. That they're going to like really try to make this happen.
Right.
Do we know how far along this process is?
I have no
When did
clue.
this happen?
This happened over the last few days. But here's the thing. Remember that picture I showed you with BlackRock? The top 25 shares, the equity holdings. Remember I said they hold Meta and they hold Tesla? I feel like, if anything, if they want a distraction, if they want to entertain the American audience, what would you do? You would get a couple of billionaire tech oligarchs, as I like to call them, to actually have a physical confrontation in like an official setting. Like, can you imagine the advertising money and everything it would be the biggest. That's what I'm saying. I'm not surprised.
The distraction aspect is incredible. I mean,
it's a distraction that is profitable. That's the thing. It's the most profitable thing you can think of as a distraction, because sports itself, sports is whatever. But now we're entering this era where anybody can kind of just like call a fight with anybody. And, if they're down, if they're both parties are up for it, it will happen. So, we're kind of in that post, what was that kid in that I forget his name that did all those fights. I'm completely blanking.
the YouTuber.
Yeah, I forget. People.
Well, it's really a strangely dystopian concept.
It is.
Everybody kind of hates billionaires. Mm-hmm. Everybody kind of loves billionaires at the same time that they hate them.
It's the love-hate.
They're almost more engaging as sort of mythological beings than like even the president or something.
Right. So this truly is like a titan, like a battle of the titans.
Yeah, the only thing that would be more sort of viscerally engaging would be if like Biden and Trump were going to fight or something. Right. But to have two billionaires who arguably we can say both of them are sort of semi-responsible for different aspects of how the world is on fire right now. Yeah, right. The technocracy, the even just the circus is the billionaire community.
Yeah, the mental condition of the world. Yeah.
So watching them fight is both soothes the hatred of them. Everybody hates billionaires. I want to watch billionaires get punched in the face. That's kind of a pretty common sentiment. Yeah. But at the same time, you get to root for the one you want to win. Right. You can simultaneously have the itch scratched. That is, I want to see billionaires get punched in the face, and I want to root for my favorite billionaire. I mean, it's
cathartic and
genius,
money making. Basil, you've got to get your New World Order Fantasy League going, because this would be a play. You can have a desk, a gambling desk, and maybe not real dollars, maybe some Canary cry coin or something. Where people can place bets. You can may have a parlay, some different topics. Elon over under 3 rounds, stuff like that. You can have all kinds of different plays, and I bet you would make a killing. So,
oh, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made here. I hope it actually happens, and they don't try to make some joke of it, like they end up doing like a VR boxing match or something, or.
Somebody mentioned, how about like a cybernetic thing where they both get kind of souped up?
I was going to say
Elon gets his Neuralink, Zuck gets his I don't know what link, whatever he's building. What's his big? I mean, he's got obviously.
This isn't going to happen. They're not going to fight.
You know what's going to happen? Here's my prediction. I
got sad because I realized there's no way on earth that this is actually going to happen.
Here's what's going to happen. They're going to plan it. It's going to, there's going to be some push for it or whatever. There's going to be some buzz, so some people can make some money off of the idea. And then, Elon will even go into training. But I think Elon's going to get hurt in training. He's going to like pull a muscle.
Oh, in training.
It's going to be delayed, and then, you know what I mean? It'll be kind of and maybe it'll happen years down the line when Elon has all his implants and he's got his genetic upgrade and he's his youthful self. Because, hey, we're in the world of equity, we want an even playing field. We need Elon to be the same age as Zuck. So he needs his reverse.
I'd love to see how the stock market responds to this.
Every hit, they got to do it during the day. They can't do it at night. They got to do it when the stock market's open, because you can probably watch the stocks go up and down based on every move, every second
punch by punch. You see the
punch by punch.
That's hilarious. Yeah, this is very strange. It's got a very powerful psychological aspect to it. It's got a very powerful sort of social engineering aspect to it. It's too mythical to not at least take advantage of. That's a good time to sort of, do your corrupt dealings and maybe have a meeting to like see which giant elite corporation gets the trillions of dollars to remake Ukraine or something.
Right.
Whatever is happening.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening the same night as this fight, if it actually happens, I mean, that's the real end of the world right there.
True that. Maybe it's RoboCat's appearance. Maybe RoboCat takes over one of them during the match.
Yeah, this
I
is
start glowing red. I am RoboCat. I have become sentient.
Secretly pushing the Constitution off of a counter in the, I don't know, the safe in Washington, D.C. or whatever.
Biden's Corvette garage.
Okay, you want to talk about submarines?
Psyop marines.
Psyops.
Yeah.
You considered that to be the name of the episode, I'm assuming.
It crossed my mind.
Psyop marines.
Yeah. But Necrocapitalist was much better than Psyop.
Yeah.
Psyop marines. So.
Oh yeah, talk about necrocapitalism.
Yeah.
Elon and Mark Zuckerberg fighting in a cage match. That is the epitome of necrocapitalism.
Oh man. Yeah, okay. So let's do this, because obviously the other distraction is the submarine story, which if you haven't heard by now, I'm sure you have. The story is that missing sub passengers believed to be dead after debris found from likely implosion. And this was actually from Wired. And the better article out of the two I have here is the Wall Street Journal, because the Wall Street Journal came out. This is okay. How should I do this? Because the timeline is very interesting, where the story came out that there was over the weekend that there was a submarine that was touring the Titanic that has been lost. It lost communication, and so the internet was on fire with people publishing countdowns until they run out of air, and all kinds of stuff. And yeah,
it was similar to the obsession with the balloon.
The balloons, very much so. That's what I was going to say. It felt the same.
Felt very much like Chinese spy balloon.
Right. So everyone's freaking out about it and talking about it, the whole world seemingly. And then the Wall Street Journal came out with this article. U.S. Navy detected Titan sub implosion. Oh, by the way, the name of the submarine is Titan. So there's that. There's the whole Nephilim connection there. U.S. Navy detected Titan sub implosion days ago. Okay, what does it say here? Washington, a top secret U.S. Navy acoustic detection system designed to spot enemy submarines, first heard the Titan sub implosion hours after the submersible began its mission, officials involved in the search said. The Navy began listening for the Titan almost as soon as the sub lost communications, according to a U.S. defense official.
Right. So immediately, the second the submarine was lost, the government, the Biden administration, knew that it had imploded. They knew this from day one. And yet.
Well, either that or who knows? Maybe they were responsible. It doesn't say they heard a blast. They said they've been listening for the Titan almost as soon as the sub lost communications. So, there was an active thing. Okay, so shortly after its disappearance, the U.S. system detected what it suspected was the sound of an implosion near the debris site discovered Thursday and reported its findings to the commander on site, U.S. defense officials said. Yeah, so this was Thursday.
That's a tricky, that's a tricky way that they stated that.
Right, the debris
because they heard the implosion
like Sunday or something
near the site that they found Thursday. They found the debris site yesterday.
Yeah,
that's when the news came out, the notifications came in. Oh my gosh, the notifications about this submarine is crazy. The notification came in on Thursday. They found a debris site about 1,600 feet or something from the Titanic. But the way that they have it described in this Wall Street Journal is, they heard an implosion on Thursday. But really, they heard the implosion on Sunday near the site they found Thursday.
Right.
So again, they've known about the implosion the entire time.
Yeah, the quote here, the U.S. Navy conducted an analysis of acoustic data and detected an anomaly consistent with an implosion or explosion in the general vicinity of where the Titan submersible was operating when communications were lost, a senior U.S. Navy official told the Wall Street Journal in a statement. Quote, while not definitive, this information was immediately shared with the incident commander to assist with the ongoing search and rescue mission, end quote. The Navy asked that the specific systems used not be named, citing national security concerns. So interesting. Another example of some pretty, I guess, acoustic monitoring is not like the most crazy thing you would consider, but it just makes sense.
It's been around forever.
It's been around for a long time. But the military doing their thing, and of course their ability to track all kinds of stuff. So the story itself.
I mean, I think that I'm just flabbergasted because who also never mentioned the implosion? The media. The media
went from Sunday to Thursday. Whether they knew or not, I think they knew.
Of course
they milked it.
Yeah.
They knew that it was blown up on Sunday. They knew it, and nobody reported it. That is the epitome of, the mainstream news lying for 5 days, just outright lying journalistically. I would say certainly there is a bigger sort of conspiratorial reason, but if there is not a bigger conspiratorial reason, they literally just did it for clicks. They did it for advertising dollars. They kept it secret. They knew what happened to this submarine the entire time and did not tell anybody. Why? Because you can milk the story for 5 days, hundreds of articles, bajillions of clicks, and millions of advertising dollars, all by withholding the very simple fact that the submarine had exploded.
Well, what's interesting about that notion there is not just that it, of course, the timing of it all, but the story itself, the people involved in the actual, passing, the people who died in this incident. Mm-hmm. There's just so much for not just your general public, but your conspiracy theorists to just start digging. And remember last episode, we had that conversation article where they were turning the tides on how conspiracy theorists should be thought of or how they should be treated or whatever. It's almost like, and we talked about how maybe that's where the money's going. The audience must all be conspiracy theorists because they want more substance. They want more factual things that have been hidden or not reported in the past or whatever. But then you can kind of, spin off of that speculations and then misdirections, and you can do all kinds of stuff. But this particular story had so much meat for conspiracy theorists, especially like new conspiracy theorists that are like new to New World Order and all this kind of stuff. And they just woke up. A story like this comes along and boom, they're on it. They dig into all the things, and the internet is amazing at that anyway. But just to kind of run down a few of the things, and I'm not saying that these in particular have any specific, thing going on, but they're, again, these are all things that people have dug up, and they're just interesting when you think about this whole OceanGate situation, which is the company of the submarine, which I think it's already hilarious. Anytime there's a controversy, gate gets put at the end of it. So for the company to be OceanGate and then this becoming its own sort of thing is kind of convenient, I suppose.
Right.
But one of the things, 2fab.com, Titan pilot's wife descended from couple who died on actual Titanic report.
Right.
Yeah. So after the debris was found near the Titanic wreckage, OceanGate released a statement reading, quote, "We now believe that our CEO, Stockton Rush, Shahzad Dawood, and his sons Sulman Dawood, Hamish Harding, and Paul Henry Nurgulat have sadly been lost," end quote. The Coast Guard also confirmed that debris found was consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber and discovery, which they immediately relayed to the families. Okay, so, and then it goes on here. The wife of OceanGate CEO and Titan pilot Stockton Rush has direct ties to the sunken ship he and 4 others were hoping to see when their submersible disappeared this week. According to the New York Times, Wendy Rush, who has gone on at least 3 different expeditions to the Titanic wreckage herself over the past 2 years, is the great-great-granddaughter of Isidore and Ida Strauss, who died aboard the ocean liner in 1912. Isidore and his brother Nathan were co-owners of Macy's department store. So these are kind of like
Strausses.
It's like the elite families from 100 years ago, and they're kind of being thrown back into the spotlight. It's very interesting. Okay, so there's that. So the wife of the CEO and driver is directly related to somebody who actually died on the Titanic, and I believe it goes on that the wife played in a scene in the actual movie Titanic. I think it was kind of like an homage or something to her family. So there's that. Okay, so there's a weird connection already there. But then, of course, the internet will spin up things like this: Titanic and Federal Reserve Act of 1913, a private central banking system ran by sicko elites to control all banks and institutions. And the whole idea here is that JP Morgan, the actual JP Morgan from 100 years ago, funded and built the Titanic. He was booked on the voyage, but he canceled last minute. Friend of JP Morgan, Milton Hershey, also canceled at the last minute and survived to build the Hershey food empire. Titanic was the first ship of its kind with the ability to seal decks electromagnetically, which could also seal people below deck. Is that true? I don't know. The Federal Reserve was formed the very next year via shady methods. Okay, so that's kind of the idea that, this whole thing was a JP Morgan stunt to create the Federal Reserve. And so Reuters back in 2021, I love this Reuters article because it's just so fun. Corrected fact check. JP Morgan did not sink the Titanic to push forward plans for the U.S. Federal Reserve. And they basically outlined this idea that we just outlined that JP Morgan purposely did it. But one of the things that's funny here, while it is, again, this is Reuters, while it is true that JP Morgan owned the Titanic and did not sail on its doomed maiden voyage, there is no evidence to suggest he deliberately missed the trip because he knew the ship would sink. Historians have debated several reasons for Morgan to cancel his trip, probably paid by JP Morgan, but none is related to the Federal Reserve. And then later,
there's no evidence, Gons.
And then later, while it is also true that Isidore Straus, Macy's department store owner, John Jacob Astor, a property tycoon, and Benjamin Guggenheim, a mining boss, died in the 1912 disaster, there is no evidence to suggest they were the target of deliberate sabotage. There is also no evidence that these three men were against Morgan's centralized banking ideas. They just happened to be on there. They just happened to be some of the biggest people in the, kind of a monetary sense economically back then. Just take them out, move in with their ideas. So as usual.
It is interesting. I actually haven't seen whatever the evidence is that they were against the Federal Reserve. I mean, I've seen the memes floating around, has the three pictures of allegedly these guys, and it has their names and says against the Federal Reserve, against the Federal Reserve. They were all against the Federal Reserve, and then boom, they're gone, and the Federal Reserve is created. But I mean, that is a fair journalistic point. I don't know how these guys felt about the Federal Reserve, other than seeing this conspiracy meme on social media.
Well, yeah. There's, of course, in the context of modernity, if this was going on now, you can go back and look at their tweets or look at there's ways to find out, maybe go through their emails. But back then, you write a letter. It's a process. It's a thought out. I mean, thing. It's not like you're not sharing all your deep secrets openly. So I don't know. It's just a different time, I suppose.
These guys could have. They're rich guys. They were those days billionaires, basically.
Right.
They could have spoken to Congress or however that Federal Reserve discussion was being had. But now here, I guess, just being fair, it's true. I have not seen the evidence that they were against the Federal Reserve.
Well, here's what I think. For me, when I saw this, I thought, something really stinks to high heaven. This is Fox News. OceanGate CEO explains why he didn't want to hire 50-year-old white guys to pilot subs.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
I saw this.
Come on. Talk about, having the perfect trigger for your conservative crowd. OceanGate Expedition CEO Stockton Rush, who was aboard the mission submersible, once explained why he preferred not to hire 50-year-old white guys with military experience to pilot his company's vessels. Rush said he valued captains who were inspirational over experience, noting that anybody can drive the sub, which is controlled with a $30 video game controller. And it goes on here and talks about the whole thing.
People were freaking out about the controller. I don't know if that's a big deal.
Yeah, all of it. But this is like low-hanging fruit clickbait for your conservative red pill. It's just crazy how it's so tailored for that. It's
kind of like it's written in a way that's kind of like saying, he's had he had social justice warrior, doesn't hire old white men, and instead meets diversity quota for sketchy submarine company or something.
Right. Okay, moving on though, because there's more. There's always more. CNBC. This is back in 2012. We're going back a while now. David de Rothschild, an entrepreneur and environmentalist, joins OceanGate Inc. board of directors. Well, there's your first mistake there.
Oh,
somehow David de Rothschild was part of the OceanGate board of directors back in 2012. Interesting. And then there's this from Isaac Weishaupt, the Illuminati watcher, I think. No, the Illuminati, I forget his name. Illuminati Eyes, or maybe Illuminati Watcher. He had a theory that connected all this to the flat Earth concept, and I don't know why I think we actually had this exchange for those of you watching. Yes, he's shirtless and wearing a leopard shower cap, and later I found out directly from him that he was doing so because he was trying to protect his curls, and he had just thought of this notion and wanted to record it, and so hence the look. But here's what he said.
You know that missing submarine that disappeared looking for the Titanic? I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or a flat earther, but there are some strange connections to consider. First, the stepson went to a Blink-182 show during the supposed rescue. It seems he's really shook up about his billionaire stepfather that just might be dead. But what's really interesting is that the billionaire Hamish Harding, the guy running this mission, also broke the world record in 2019 for circumnavigation of the globe around the poles, meaning he flew over the North and South poles, which means he basically disproved the flat Earth theory that nobody is allowed over the poles. Is it a coincidence this guy is now missing? You know that missing submarine that disappeared looking for the Titanic?
Stop.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so there's just some little tidbit for the flat earthers. And then there's this Titan submersible passenger Shahzada Dawood is the World Economic Forum's vice chairman. This is PolitiFact checking on this fact, because this was another thing going around. One of the guys was a World Economic Forum guy, and that's the claim. Basically, the Titan passenger Shahzada Dawood was not the World Economic Forum's vice chairman, according to PolitiFact. It goes through the whole thing. But it's funny here because it talks about the webpage. Because there is a webpage from the World Economic Forum that kind of outlines Dawood, kind of profiles him. You know how they do the profile page where they're like, they talk about the guy and then talk about his company or whatever. And it says here, the web page says Dawood is vice chairman of NECRO, a Pakistan holding company that works in the fertilizer, food, energy, and liquefied gas industries. So that in itself is already interesting that this guy was on that thing. He is not listed among the World Economic Forum's leadership. NECRO is a World Economic Forum partner. World Economic Forum partners can participate in WEF Center for Networking. The corporation is associated with the Center for Advanced Manufacturing of Supply Chains, Center for Energy and Materials, and Center for Nature and Climate. Shahzada Dawood was a British Pakistani businessman and a member of one of Pakistan's wealthiest families, the New York Times reported. The World Economic Forum website said, quote, Shahzada is a leading voice in the institutionalization of key international networks of contacts. He aspires to a sustainable future and believes in inclusive business models involving low-income communities building value chains along business interests, end quote. Re-rate the Instagram video's claim. False. It's because the Instagram video, of course, claimed that he was the vice chairman of the World Economic Forum. Typical PolitiFact fashion, they take something that maybe somebody sloppy with his research or didn't pay attention to the details, found the guy's website on the World Economic Forum and then tweeted out or Instagrammed out, oh, look, he's, the vice chairman, not reading properly because it says he's the vice chairman of that company. So false, not acknowledging PolitiFact that he surely was involved with the World Economic Forum. They saw highly of him as part of the network. So, okay, sure. Maybe he's not the vice chairman, but the fact that he's involved in some way is of note.
It is on the website.
This link is broken. Oh, there's another guy from QED.NG. I was invited to join ill-fated Titan Ocean Adventure, Ned Nwoko. Senator Ned Nwoko has revealed that the late British businessman Captain Hamish Harding invited him to the Titan adventure to the Titanic debris underwater. Harding died with 4 others inside the submersible. We know that. Nwoko's husband, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, where's the part that I wanted to be? Oh, quote, "I have lost a dear friend and business partner, Captain Hamish Harding. We both went on a very dangerous expedition to the South Pole, Antarctica, a few years back." There you go. So there's that claim right there, that he went to the South Pole and Antarctica. Basil, maybe he knows something he's not supposed to know. Take him out,
Take him out.
And then there's the Simpsons prediction. You can't have a catastrophe or a world event without a Simpsons prediction. Snopes.com. Did the Simpsons predict the missing Titanic submersible? Their take, false. And again, you can read through it. I'll have the link here. I love the standard here with the Snopes analysis. So the rumor spread. So there's a video from an old episode. Obviously, it's always an older episode of Homer Simpson in some kind of like ocean, underwater ocean submersible vehicle, and he runs out of oxygen and he passes out. And of course, a TikTok video related that to the event here, and millions of views, 9.2 million views. And so Snopes is on it. They're going to solve it for us. So they acknowledge that there is this video footage, and they say this. That said, there was no mention of the Titanic nor Ocean Gate at any point in the Simpsons episode, allegedly predicting the missing submersible. The episode aired in 2006, before Ocean Gate was made, I think, and was called Homer's Paternity Coup. In the episode, Homer Simpson used a submarine to find the famed emeralds of Piso Mojado. He got stuck underwater, ran out of oxygen, and then woke up in a hospital after being in coma for 3 days. Oh yeah, that's not really esoteric at all there, Snopes. Just hey, this is the misdirection. The misdirection is, hey, check it. It wasn't about the whole Ocean Gate thing. No, he was looking for the famed emeralds of Piso Mojado. It's like, okay, all right. And
they never mentioned Ocean Gate, the company that owned the submarine, so it's false.
Yeah, so that's the level that's going on at Snopes there. So again, it's the examples here. I think is the thing to point out is that everybody cashed in for a week on this story, whether you're a conspiracy theorist posting on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, or your mainstream media trying to debunk it. It just happened all this week, and then we find out yesterday that, oh yeah, we heard something. We kind of knew it was they were a downer, and that the whole thing is very suspicious too. Where some people obviously think that, hey, maybe this was their escape route. This was their Epstein kind of moment where they go out, there's no evidence, and they're they have a new life in, I don't know where. Brazil or something. Atlantis, sure. Antarctica, maybe. Once you're into the hollow earth where it's a little warmer. But so I don't know. The whole thing just seems like one big psyop to distract. Obviously, there's many theories about what may have been the distraction. And Basil, you have your own theory as to what may have been the thing everyone's not paying attention to when looking at the submarine. Similar to the balloon, by the way, too. Look over here, balloon. Look over here, submarine. What do we miss?
Yeah, I mean the way that it totally, absolutely absorbed everybody's attention. Not even just everybody's attention, the mainstream media's attention.
Right.
And
well, that's the thing I'm saying. It's not just mainstream media, though. It's mainstream media and the whole sort of truth culture, because there's so much substance there to dig into.
Yeah, because but I think it starts with the mainstream media. If the mainstream media had not shoved the submarine story down everybody's throat, nobody would have even known about it. Nobody would have cared. Nobody would have been talking about it. But because it was created, it became this worldwide sensation. The story of the submarine, then it actually creates a incentive for quote unquote conspiracy theorists online to dig into it.
That's
nobody would have done it if they didn't.
Yeah, I think you're right. maybe it's just our feeds are different. You were saying you got a lot of notifications from mainstream outlets of the story, correct? That's kind of what I was seeing. I was just seeing it everywhere on conspiracy stuff, like just people posting stuff.
That's what I mean. That's exactly the point. And they only brought it up because the mainstream still holds that, holds that power over the quote unquote conspiracy, community, the alt movement, right? That's why we didn't talk about the sub much this week, because what's the point? I mean, it's a big deal. It's, again, we talked about the balloon much, but we kind of did it in a joking way, trying to figure out what they were hiding type of stuff. But really, the mainstream media is very effective at diverting attention. If somebody's in the conspiracy community and they are claiming to be the truth seeker and the blah, 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 all the stuff, becoming so wrapped up in the media frenzy of the submarine is exactly what they want. They want you talking about the submarine and digging into the, family history of the CEO instead of getting outraged about Hunter Biden's court case going on all week, where he got off with a slap on for the same crime that, I think the comparison was being made to a couple of rappers who were convicted of the same crime as Hunter Biden. One of them got 3 years, the other one got 10 years, and Hunter Biden gets nothing. He gets absolutely nothing. And so, these are sort
white
of
privilege.
The systematic, Biden privilege, more like it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Hunter Biden is the luckiest criminal in the world. It just happens to be that his dad is Biden. He doesn't get out of every court case scot-free because his dad is Biden. It just happens to be he's innocent of all charges. He's there's lots of stories. Of course, we had the IRS whistleblowers coming out who were outraged about Hunter Biden's slap on the wrist, saying, the IRS recommended that he get multiple felonies for tax evasion and blah, 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 and a bunch of it's like 11 different counts that they were trying to catch him on, and he got nothing. He got 2 tax misdemeanors because he pled guilty, and that's it. He gets basically zero, punishment for those things. And that's not to mention all the stuff with the laptop. There's so much of Hunter Biden's story, I guess, I don't know what to call it, crime history, has been addressed this week, not by the mainstream media, simply by the courts and investigations going on all around him. But you don't hear a single thing about it. You can maybe see something float by on social media, but when it comes to actually the things that are revealing the sad state of affairs when it comes to the way that our system is set up, no. Distract them with the sub. We don't need people realizing that the Biden crime family continues to extort national and international organizations for millions of dollars and selling their, selling Joe Biden's influence to enrich his family for generations to come, which is the same thing that lots of politicians are doing. No. We can't bring any attention to the fact that we live in an entirely corrupt system that is pretty much propped up by toothpicks and straws glued together, while the elite lizard people make off like bandits. No, we got to talk about the submarine.
Which, by the way, James Cameron says the Titan passengers probably knew the submersible was in trouble.
Oh,
Good call, James Cameron.
Dude, a lot of the conversations, not even the mainstream, but like the alt media giants talking about this, it all boils down to, this submarine was so sketchy. People are taking risks. It changes the way we think about risks. The submarine company was sketchy, and that's what matters. Let's talk about how sketchy the submarine
controller was. To control.
Yeah, things like that.
Well, Well, there's one part in this article to take note, which I thought I had highlighted, but I did not, apparently.
Classic.
The Titanic director is no stranger to deep-sea exploration. He has made a whopping 33 dives to the shipwreck himself.
Yeah, James Cameron, he loves that boat, man. He can't get enough of it.
Even calculating that he spent more time on the Titanic than its own captain did a century ago. Wow, James Cameron, you're so cool, man. Wasn't he going to the bottom of the ocean to look for stuff too? Wasn't he one of those guys?
You mean like treasure? What do you mean?
Yeah, he was like looking for. He went to the Mariana Trench and like he's been doing like deep sea stuff for a while. And
he loves it under there.
I know, but he was like looking for something specific. I forget what it was. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, also this thing with Russia was building up all week and nobody heard about it.
Yeah, that's true.
The Russian sort of conflict between Prigozhin, the Wagner Group, and the Russian military, that was building all week. All week I was reading about how, the Russians were... It was like Wednesday or Tuesday or something. The Russian military fired on an encampment of Wagner troops. And this basically Russian civil war has been building for days. We didn't really hear about it until today when Wagner turned around and started attacking Russia. It's really crazy. So this is the submarine story is a great example of how well the mainstream media can execute a distraction campaign and how, in fact, effective it is at keeping people's attention focused on something, whether it's sad or not, however you feel about it, ultimately pretty inconsequential considering that we are on the brink of World War III, and who knows, Wagner going into Russia to start a coup might be, who knows, could be the thing that pushes Putin over the line to drop a nuke on Ukraine. He needs all the resources he can get at home. Just drop a nuke on Ukraine, call it a day, and deal with your civil war at home. So big things happening, and that submarine was pretty small in comparison.
All right, well, that's enough submarine talk.
You want to?
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for any page. Look for a green tab on any page. A little brain freeze moment there. Click on that green button. It'll open up a little tab, not a tab, a little pop-up that allows you to record a message of up to 90 seconds, an audio message that is, and send it to us. We'll play it if appropriate. If you don't want us to play it publicly, let us know right at the top of the recording so we don't accidentally play a secret message to us. Today, we have no messages to report.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Good job.
Yep.
What are we doing next?
Okay. Let's thank some producers.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So we're on the value for value model, folks, which means if you get any value, put value back in. Lots of ways to do it. Time, talent, treasure, get involved. Go to canarycry.support to check it out. We already thanked our executive producer, Maureen M. Thank you very much. Remember when you're listening to this show, there's a lot of people involved. Lots of people involved in keeping it alive, paying the bills, helping out with administrative tasks and creative tasks. And you can get involved too. It doesn't have to be your whole life unless you want it to be. That's cool. But it's the small acts of producership from lots of people who want to keep the show going that keeps it alive. And so we're going to thank some producers who came in to support the show financially. You ready?
Yep. Oh, by the way, it's Dame Maureen, not Maureen M anymore. It's Dame
That's
Maureen,
true.
Lady
Dame
of
Maureen.
Appalachian Hills, House of the Fountain of Living Water.
Thank you very much, Dame Maureen. Yes, sorry, I forgot your honorific. Okay, here we go. These are the producers who came in above $7.77. Mm-hmm. We are starting with producer Marie H.
Marie H. All right, thank you.
Yeah, Marie H's total came in at $23.39. Not 100% sure what that total would have been minus fees, but thank you very much, Marie H. Here's a note. So glad Basil is doing better. I had a hip replacement last October that became infected in April. Oh, no. So it was removed 2 weeks ago.
Goodness.
I didn't know that you could do that, remove hip replacements. Okay. I will be on PICC line antibiotics for 6 weeks or until the infection is gone, then new hip. Prayers appreciated.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes, that is a pain in the butt. Almost literally. I'm so sorry to hear that, producer Marie H. Why don't we hit the producers for Marie here?
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Producers are people just like you, producers around the world who are committed to praying for the show, praying for the producers of the show, praying for the hosts of the show, making sure that we can fight rattlesnakes good. So thank you very much, producers. Let's keep Marie H. on the list, fighting that infection for 6 weeks. My goodness. And getting that hip replacement replaced. That is quite the ordeal. Wow. I have a whole new respect for these major sort of health things that can happen in life. That is a pain. Yeah. We're praying for you, Marie.
Yep. Thank you very much, Marie. And yeah, we'll definitely be praying for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next up, we have producer Jacob B. is back.
Jacob B. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jacob B. Jacob B comes in with what I believe was 1111. 11. Appreciate that very much, Jacob B. I did not see a note or anything. Okay. Then, of course, we have Sir Alex Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol comes in with a pocket full of sevens, 187 episodes in a row.
Thank you.
And then we have Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's. Came in for $7.77 on a 275 episode streak.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious. Women
Streakalicious. Thank you very much, Dame Gale. Dame Gale sent a note here. XXXXXXXXXO and it says, I am going through a very rough time. Grateful, but not happy. Very sad. Alone. Asking for prayer, for courage to keep trying to accept this move to an unfamiliar place and having to leave my daughter and kitty. That's very sad. Okay, let's pray. Let's hit the producers again.
Producers, assemble!
Yeah, producers, we're keeping Dame Gale on the list. I'm trying to remember if I know the details of everything, but it sounds like she's having to move living situations away from her daughter and her kitty. Not fun at all. That can be very isolating, lonely. And just know, Dame Gale, that you got a whole bunch of Canarians here that care about you, and we'll keep the producers on the job, making sure that the Lord, intervenes in the ways that matter most.
Yeah. Amen. Yep. We're going to be praying for you, Dame Gale.
Okay. This was another short one. 4 people on the list here. We do have some people who came in under the $7.77 count. And this is them. Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 313 episodes in a row.
Wow. 313.
Yeah. We have Sir Morv, Knight of the Burning Chariots, 245 in a row.
Sir Morv, thank you.
Veronica D, 275 in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 302 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Scott. Oh, wrong one.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious. Women rule.
That's right. Thank you very much.
That's right.
That concludes the list of financial producers. We appreciate it very much. And everybody out there, consider what this show brings to your life. And, you know, the fun part is you pick your own number. You put whatever number feels right to you, whatever fits your situation and the value that it brings to your life. Go to canarycry.support if you want to get involved.
Yes, sir.
Canarycry.support.
Another way you can produce the show is with your talent, and it's a great way to do it because, you know, not everybody has spare change, but you might have some spare talent that you want to contribute to the show with, and you can do that. You can help build the culture behind the community here. You can do it with all kinds of ways, any way, really. I mean, truly any medium is acceptable. We haven't had too much deviation from, you know, music and jingles and stuff and art and images and videos and stuff, but, you know, there's room for anything, really. If you do some kind of street performance that's about the show, or you wanted some kabuki.
Have not gotten any fushigi juggling
or fushigi,
yet.
That's right, fushigi juggling. So there's various ways to do so, but you know, for our purposes today, we're going to start with some audio production.
Audio production.
Yeah, I thought I had this one. I don't see it in my notes. Where did it go? Uh-oh, this might be a problem. I might have messed something up here. Jonathan F. sent in something. I think he had a note here. Just a bot saying what value for value means. Let me try to get this properly. Oh, wow, slow. Come on, I'm supposed to have fast internet here. That's what I was told. That once I'm in the garage, I will have excessively fast internet, but it has not been the case. So I cannot open this file. I don't know why it's not opening. All right. Well, let me see. What can I do to solve this?
Oh, you did not download it before?
I thought I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I just can't find it. So,
oh, no.
So I'm doing it now, but it's taking a really long time. Let me just do this. I can do it real quick if I unmute the another app. I got to open another application. Oh boy.
Every time we can return to it if you want to wait for it to download.
Well, did I play the Jonathan F. jingle yet?
I don't think so.
Jonathan F.
Now I feel like I don't know. It's one of those things. You're in it, you don't know. Okay, here it is. Is it playing? What's going on? It is completely frozen. I don't know why it's not playing. Well, this is good podcasting. This is great. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, let's just move on for right now. Sorry, Jonathan F. I don't know what happened.
We'll fix it and we'll play it next time.
Well, we can play it. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll just go on to the next one and then we'll come back. All right, let's do some art real quick. Sorry about that. Where's my art jingle?
One art, please.
I think I'm taxing the system right now. Everything is really slow. All right, we're going to start off with Sir Dove.
One art piece from Dove.
There's a note here. He says, "Peace for today's artwork. I did another thumbnail duo illustration. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you." And P.S. Thank you, everyone, for all the prayers. My wife had another ultrasound this week, and the baby isn't breached anymore and is in a good position. Hallelujah to that. That's awesome. Look at that. Things worked out for Sir Dove. Are you seeing this piece of art here, Basil? in light of the stories today, it's appropriate, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yes, thank you, Sir Dove. You know, Sir Dove actually sent something to celebrate. This was his 300th streak of creating something for the show, creating art for the show.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we will give him the 300 streak here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's
still
amazing.
Confused how that's 300, but okay. Yeah.
100 episodes in the row. It's crazy. Thank you so much, Sir Dove. And today we've got this excellent addition to the thumbnail art duo collection here. We've got on the right side, we've got Gons in a sort of commie
commie military outfit here. It's kind of fun. Let's see here. Did he read the note that came with this, or was the note I'm thinking of, did that come in yes, it did. Okay, it came in the email. So on the right side, we have Gans in a sort of drab green military outfit. He's holding some sort of hole punching device in his hands, very subtly down below there for the YouTubers. He's got some patches. Got the propaganda rooster on one shoulder.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can I read what that says? Yes.
Rooster. Yeah.
The Rooster Brigade. And on the left shoulder, he's got a patch that has the robotic arm and hammer and sickle. Top of his hat there, he's got the sort of upside down red star. Yes. And he's looking very serious and patriotic for his cause. And on the left-hand side, we've got a big googly-eyed Canary wearing a backwards red hat and a white shirt. Looks familiar. And he's carrying a coyote hole punch in one hand. Looks like maybe a Henry Arms repeater, something like that. And slung over his shoulder is a gigantic coyote with 2 holes punched right in him. He must have been a criminal coyote eating roosters or something.
I think we solved the mutilation issue. You know how there's never blood. It's always perfect. That's what these holes look like. It's just some hole punches.
Oh, you're talking about like the cow mutilation. Yeah. Perfect holes through it. No blood. Don't worry, YouTube. Just 2 perfect holes. You can see right through them.
Details you missed. The hole puncher itself says Coyote Hole Puncher on it.
So it's very small. I see it now.
And then on over my left shoulder, I have one of those water jugs. Those like water jug leather patch or cases, and it says D300. I think that's the indication.
The D300 is to celebrate Dove's 300th piece for the show.
Very subtle, always little Easter eggs in Dove art.
Well, we celebrate you, Sir Dove. It really means a lot. Your faithfulness, your commitment to keeping stuff coming to the show. And recently, it's if it weren't for Dove, we'd be very light on the art. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dove. We also got something from Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas. He had a note here. He said, "Happy Friday. I made some simple art for the show. Hope you guys like it. Have a great day. P.S. I included clipped out headshots, which thank you very much for that. And yeah, it looks fantastic. And we even saw your tweet, Sir Darren.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have a link? Is some thumbnail art for us. It's a classic Sir Darren headshot of myself and Gans in sort of a black and white motif. So that'll be fun. The black and white thumbnails are sometimes very fun. So we'll get to try that out again. And do you have the link to his tweet?
It's trying to open. You know how it goes.
Okay. Well, I sent it to you anyways. And on Twitter today, Sir Knight of the Hungry Panda posted a great tweet. Support your best buddies, Basil and Gans, with value for value. Why? Because otherwise your favorite news and analysis duo may be forced to model for the Illuminati. How they parfum number 33. And he made this excellent little animation, which is a cologne advertisement introducing Canary Cry News Talk. And it's sort of aquamarine looking cologne bottle there. It says Canary Cry News Talk on it. Some other small stuff that I can't zoom in on Twitter. And what else does it say here at the bottom? I can't get in there. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going in VR style. I'm making these windows humongous. Unless you can read it. Can you?
It's not playing yet. So there it is. Introducing Canary Cry News Talk. The new intense fragrance for thinking outside the cage.
There it is.
By Basil and Gans. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas.
Yep. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is fantastic. I love it. All right. Okay, let's go back to Jonathan F. real quick because we got that value for value bot. Here it is.
Value for value.
We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
That's good. Good.
That's very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might just have to keep that one on hand that we can play during the producer segment.
I think so. All right, microfiction.
Microfiction. Microfiction.
Did you want the whole thing in the second one? Yeah.
So here's the thing. I am told that for the live stream, the entire, we are having that muting problem for me last episode.
Yeah.
I was told that the entire microfiction was muted for at least Runk Smashes. So there was a talk. Somebody was mentioning maybe we should do the one from last week as well, and then do the one for this week.
Or you mean last episode?
Episode, sorry. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Just go right there. Just do both.
Okay. Well, the one that we have here is the one that we read last episode. So I don't think we have a new one.
All right. Then it's perfect.
Unless you saw a new one.
I did not.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know if there's a new one. So we'll do this one again. The hooded beefcake silently helps the captain into the elevator and pushes the button. On the way down, an alarm sounds and a monotone voice announces over the speaker, "Dangerous biocon terrorists have been reported in the area. Please stay inside."
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
It was better this time.
There we go. Yeah, even better. You're welcome, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got one from Stefan S.
Yep. Here you go, Stefan S.
The general reviewed the crater formerly a drone control center and asked, "Why is the news reporting this as a simulation?" "Sir, Intel concluded these reports are AI generated," the captain replied. "They suspect it's trying to cover up the incident."
Ah, yes. Tried to cover up the submarine incident.
I think this was the drone incident. This was U.S. Colonel retracts comments on simulated drone attack thought experiment.
Yeah, what they didn't tell you.
Was this the AI that killed the operator?
Well, no, it didn't, because they came out afterward and said, no. Like they had to backtrack. I think that was the story. So Colonel clarifies comments about rogue AI drone that supposedly killed its operator. It was a thought experiment, not an official simulation.
It wasn't even a simulation.
Yeah,
it was a thought experiment.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. Not disappointing,
Louise.
but also just it was one of those stories I think we covered while you were out. But yeah, it was. I recall.
No, I remember the story. Yeah.
But,
okay, well, that's exciting. Thank you very much, Stefan S., and all of our very talented artists. If you are a creative person and want something featured on the show, or just want to make Gonz and I's heart all warm and fuzzy, you can create something for the show using your talent, no matter what it is. You can write a microfiction, create some graphics, do some art, make a song, whatever it is. Go to canarycry.art, canarycry.art, and you can upload it there. We appreciate it very much. We'll feature it on the show. While we're at it, if you have an article that you would like to send into the show, the best way to do that is by going to canarycry.report. canarycry.report. Fill out that form, send it in to us. That's, my goodness, that has been night and day being able to track the articles people send in for us.
Yep. All right, let's finish out the show.
I'm hungry.
Speaking of the beast system. Beast system.
Oh, it has happened. The Bite, futurism.com. First lab-grown meat products approved for sale in U.S. Which hilariously,
I think we're on about a 7 to it's about a 6 to 7 year schedule. That this is one of these moments where from the moment we report on something and talk about it on the show, it takes about 6 years for it to happen. In this case, we've been talking about the cultured meat thing for quite some time. And here it is. Very exciting, folks. We finally got some approval by a scientific governmental organization, and it's going to change society forever.
Well, it's funny because
it's about time.
The article itself not debunks, but sort of clarifies the headline. The headline is pretty clickbaity, but here's what it says. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has approved 2 companies, Upside Foods and Good Meat, to sell their lab-grown chicken products, Reuters reports, making them the first lab-grown meats to be greenlit for sale in the country. More specifically, the USDA approval comes in the form of a grant of inspection. Strictly speaking, the grant means that the company's meat processing facilities are in compliance with the agency's standards and will be regularly inspected. This, in effect, allows their product to be sold at large. Quote,
That's
the
right.
approval will fundamentally change how meat makes it to our table, Upside Foods CEO Uma Valetti said in a statement. Quote, it's a giant step forward towards a more sustainable future, one that preserves choice of life.
Choice and life.
Oh, choice and life.
It's hilarious. You've got your pro-life, you've got your pro-choice, but lab-grown chicken preserves choice and life. It's a win-win, Gons.
I don't get it though. I don't understand.
The reporting on this has been interesting because they've, and this point has been made on other shows as well. The sort of narrative being crafted, not just the reports, but the overall narrative about this fake meat is not so much eating meat is bad and you should eat this meat. It's good. It's much more about, no animals died. No animals died.
Well, it's
the same chicken.
Yeah.
It's the same chicken. It's just no animals died. It's very exciting. Now everybody can gobble down this weird lab-grown meat, and you don't have to worry about the fear and destruction of a beautiful little chicken. And it's very interesting. I don't know if people are really gonna. It's a necro chicken. Necrocapitalism.
That's our brand,
baby,
of cultured meats or cultivated in vitro meats.
That's what it is. They're trying to move out of necrocapitalism.
Right.
We've had all these shows, or this show, pretty much the whole show today includes somebody making money off of death.
Right.
Well, we'll end the show with this guy being very, very proud that he's going to make a ton of money and no chickens will die.
Not from death, but from non-life. See, we're moving forward.
Right. Yeah, it was never alive, so there's no death.
Non-life. It says here, after they say that we're the first country to have this approved after Singapore, we're the second country. Lab-grown or cultivated meat is touted as a more ethical alternative to traditional meat because no animals are killed or harmed to create it, to your point, Basil. As the name implies, lab-grown meat is created in bioreactors using real animal cells, and depending on who you ask, it sort of tastes like the real thing too. Hey,
yeah.
That's not selling any product right there. I don't think that is whoever wrote that. Not getting
definitely not
check
in
from
futurism.
Yeah,
there's a lot of video reports showing the facility in which it's grown, and it's just like giant stainless steel vats. It does not look very appetizing. It kind of looks like a brewery or something almost.
Well, might as well be. It's intoxicating. Whether it's a healthy or even healthier alternative, however, remains to be seen. But clearly the USDA thinks it's at least safe enough for us to eat.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
You know what else?
The USDA. Say, That's not even. Yeah. Considering considered safe enough to eat in the U.S., this could be straight cancer that they're feeding us, and it'd still be, the thing with the USDA inspection is they are more concerned with, is your factory like safe? Is it, can you create food in your factory without giving everybody salmonella? That's a little bit more of what the USDA inspection is about. Not so much like scientifically testing if the fake meat is going to give you cancer or not.
Well, get this, because futurism trying to be balanced here. They say, but promises of being a more sustainable alternative to livestock meat be darned. At least one study purports that current methods of cultivated meat production aren't any greener than obtaining meat from slaughtered livestock. The study concedes, though, that this could be vastly improved in the future. So it's not even better. It's just literally psychological.
And you click that link, it takes you to Neoscope, which is a part of the futurism.com. It's a headline, Bloomberg shredded for amazingly stupid article about fake meat and cancer. In a completely puzzling turn of events, Bloomberg has decided to chastise the lab-grown meat industry's failure to address cancer concerns because of the fact that there aren't any cancer concerns. Confused? Us too. Let's try that again. A Bloomberg writer declared that lab-grown meat industry's failure to risk connecting the word cancer to its products, which are mostly still years from hitting the shelves, well, not quite years. They're here. They're here now. Threatens to be the downfall of the industry, despite the fact that the industry has absolutely no reason to address cancer concerns because said concerns are, again, virtually non-existent. Yeah, well, when nobody's eating it, nobody's going to get cancer from it.
But the rats didn't get cancer, Basil. You see, the rats, they're just like us.
I don't even think they're feeding it to anything. It's like not even...
Well, it's molecularly the same.
Right, that's what they would have to say.
Yeah. So the Back to the Futurism article here, I guess that one was too, but back to the first one. It talks about how bringing this mainstream won't be easy. Industry leaders have admitted that no one has figured out how to scale up production while keeping costs reasonable. Getting skeptical consumers to eat it will prove harder still. It'll probably be a while before you see lab-grown meat in your local supermarket, if ever. But for now, both companies plan to publicly debut their products at a few select restaurants and locations. So it made me kind of think, Basil, what situation, what social setting would be appropriate to have this product? Would it be a feature of the place? Go to this club, they have the lab-grown meat there. Everyone's going to try to go there to, hang out to have the lab-grown meat, or is it the other way where it's like, oh, hey, they have these condiments at some posh place, high level thing, everyone wants to get in, but then you get in there, you order something, you don't know that it's lab grown meat. What do you think?
Yeah, I forget the name. I actually read in another article what the place was, and I forget what it's called. It's some super fancy place, like in New York or something, like super, super fancy. I didn't bring the article. I don't know much about fancy restaurants in New York. But yeah, apparently it's like a famous chef who's sort of agreed to try it out and serve it in their super fancy restaurant. So we will see. It's kind of fun. If it does cause cancer, it's going to be all the people eating at the super fancy restaurants that will be the test subjects.
Oh, yeah, maybe the elite want the elite killed because, they're the ones that are next on the next rung on the pyramid, so they're easier to get to. That makes sense.
Right.
Yep. We might need to take note of these companies and names here and just keep it, in your back pocket there. Upside Foods and Good Meat. Because there's another article here from Bloomberg that published yesterday, mirrored on MSN. The headline, Beyond Meat wannabes are failing as hype and money fade. So I'm wondering if the winners have already been chosen. Bloomberg, Unreal Food ended its pursuit of an eggless egg. Remastered Foods stopped developing vegan bacon. The Meatless Farm halted its plant-based sausages. The great shakeout in the world's fake meat sector is here, and it's widening. As money flows less freely due to surging interest rates, yeah, that's why, investors have sharply pulled back funding just as inflation increases production costs and makes consumers more selective about their food choices. It wasn't the fact that people didn't like eating it. It was all these other factors. That's hitting a crowded field which has mushroomed after the early success of Beyond Meat Inc. and Impossible Foods Inc. With shoppers put off by excessive processing, nutritional value, and taste, a growing list of alternative protein companies are shutting down, laying off staff, and selling themselves. Industry observers say more turmoil is coming before the sector stabilizes. So, it's got some quotes and stuff. So, hey, the fake meat industry, the money is not as free flowing. And I think it's because the return on investments have not been good on these products. Right. People pour in all these billions expecting a return. And they're like, these companies are just going down. Nobody's buying our fake, highly processed meats.
That's what I loved about some of the runs on the supermarket during the pandemic is the meat section would be completely sold out, and the fake meat section would just be completely stocked. Nobody wanted it.
Nobody wanted it. And they don't go bad because they're processed. Actually, I think they do go bad. But anyway, there you go. Yeah.
You wanna update on the Wagner Group?
Let's do it. What's new?
Okay, I was just been tracking this on the tweeters here. There is video of what seems to be, and the claims are following, of the Wagner Group taking Rostov and breaching the Defense Ministry headquarters in Rostov.
Oh my God.
And it looks like the defense. Some reports are that the employees of the military district headquarters in Rostov just left. They just drove away. And so Wagner has officially taken over one town in Russia.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's getting real out there, I guess.
Things are getting pretty real over there. Now, I'm looking at a map. Rostov is not close to Moscow, so who knows? This looks like it'll have to be a couple-day operation if they're going to try to get all the way to Moscow.
Are we going to see the Scythian clones? Come on, Russia. Unleash the Scythian clones, man. You got the Wagner Group coming after you.
Super soldiers.
Yeah, Putin might hit that button and unleash and we may not even know it, Well, the story will be that the Wagner Group just stopped. They all dropped dead. Little do we know, the Scythian, resurrected Scythian warriors came in like flash. They came in, boom, killed them, left. Nobody saw. Maybe there's a red streak.
There's rumors that Putin may have gone underground. It'd be really crazy is if Putin nuked his own town to get rid of the Wagner soldiers. I wonder what sort of nuclear response would be required from the West if Putin does use a nuke, but he uses it on his own territory.
Wow.
All right.
Well, he
we'll
could spin that. The FSB, they could spin that. The Ukrainians did it.
They could figure it out. Yeah. One thing I think I forgot to mention that Google News has been totally shut down in Russia. Online news outlets, especially Western ones, are being censored. So there's just big stuff going on, man. It's really weird. All right. Well, make sure to tune in Monday because we'll know a lot more about old Prigozhin. And who knows? Putin might be out of power by Monday's show. That'll be weird.
Or we see the super soldiers, one or the other.
Come
on, super soldiers. See, this is why we need the New World Order Fantasy League, so we can place these bets,
I know.
Time stamped and everything. It'd just be great. But
this is what it's for. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and thank you to all the producers who make this show happen, whether it's with your time, your talent, or your treasure. I got a couple people I want to thank who put in their time to keeping this show nice and moving, keeping the wheels greased here, starting with our Clippies.
Flippy on those videos. Thanks.
Thank you to Emsworth, Faylivern, Jones, and Laura for helping out with clipping out the show, whether it's for short little clips, long clips, segments. Go to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey to check out the clips. It's good to go review past segments. They're put into, 10 to 20 minute segments piece by piece. They're good for sharing. If there's a segment that you want to share with somebody, go check it out, Canary Cry Clips. And that's possible thanks to the timestampers.
Oh, shoot. You're right.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right. They timestamp the show. Sometimes they do it live, and it goes into so much of our back-end stuff. We appreciate our timestampers more than they could ever know, and that includes episode 636, which was timestamped by Christine C.
Thank you, Christine C. Appreciate it.
Other than that, thank you to Jam for the links. Let's see. Any other little people sent us links you'd like to appreciate?
Actually, yes. Let me get that real quick. I forgot to add this to the list.
I'm pulling it up too. Can we do
Jen
it
Wright
quick?
and Brother G. Thank you very much. Jen
That's
Wright.
right. Thank you very much, Brother G and Jen, for the links. We appreciate that very much. And there we go. All right, folks. Thank you to Clank for the reminders. We finally got Maureen Dame.
Thank you,
Thanks
Clank.
to the reminders there, Clank. Thank you very much. And other than that, share the show, folks. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your dogs. How many dogs do you have? How many snakes do you have? Share it with all the snakes before you blow their heads off. And share it with BlackRock so they can get some insight into what the plebes think about their grand plans for global domination. Make sure to share it with RoboCat, Google's DeepMind robotic arm consciousness, which is, coming to a robotic arm near you. Remember, folks, some RoboCats like to be scratched behind the ears, others don't, but what we do know is whether it's a RoboCat or a regular cat, they're all out for world domination. You can share the show by becoming a billionaire and challenging another billionaire to a MMA fight or a boxing match, a thumb war, whatever it is. You're a billionaire, this, you can't become a billionaire without breaking a few eggs. And, people have a complicated relationship with billionaires. So what a better opportunity than to use your billionaire status to finally give the people what they want, whether they hate you, they love you, they want to see you get punched in the face, and they also want you to tell them about your favorite news analysis podcast. And if I were you, Elon, if I were you, Mark Zuckerberg, I would take this as an opportunity to help out your good buddies, Basil and Gons, and somebody maybe wear a Canary Cry News Talk t-shirt at the fight. Wouldn't that be something? It's these small moments in life where everything can change. And one of these small moments is when a billionaire fights another billionaire. And as the blood drips off their brow, it lands on your very cool, very cozy Canary Cry t-shirt, which reminds me, go to canarycryt-shirt-council.com, sign up to get our quarterly t-shirt and vote on the design. I saw somebody asking actually in the chat earlier. I will be sending out emails to the t-shirt council. I was supposed to do it yesterday, and then I didn't, but it is coming momentarily, t-shirt people. So hang in there. Anyways, that's just a great way to share a show. If you need any more instructions, here's what you do. We call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Just ask Noah. Guns, any last words?
Yeah, I'm watching some footage here from the whole Wagner situation and the actual takeover of the Russian military HQ in Rostov. And yeah, you got some people, they're surrounding the building and all that. It looks kind of underwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah, because there's nobody there.
Is that
there's
why?
no fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody was in the building. They're all like in formation trying to take the building. Met zero resistance from the reports that I'm able to see.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Good times. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
I love the Great Reset.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
Give me a break.
We're all gonna die.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Toilets! Toilets!
It will kill. They love killing. We're all gonna die.
Armageddon's on the way.
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Those that are wise, they shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever.
Canary Cry News Talk, man, what's going on? Gotta turn it on, shows coming on live. VPN on when I'm going online. Anonymity, man, cryptocurrency. We got everything you need, get it 3 times a week. Jesus Christ the King, let the Holy Spirit speak. Battle in the cage, gotta set the captive free. Value for value, to me it's not free. Wish I had a longer streak, but this creativity, go fulfill the 3 T's. That's time, treasure, talent. Give it right back, put it right back in balance. Not right or left, we not with the distractions. Catastrophes are the classic techniques, all attacks of the enemy. Getting defeated underneath the feet of Jesus. Just believe us, media is trying to deceive ya. Gotta read between the lines till you see through the disguise. It's a slit reptilian eye sitting on top of the pyramid. Got a myriad of topics, might be on a watch list. RIP face like the sun, but you cannot stop this. Like the Lord's gonna come stop this beast system and this infinite wisdom. Yeah, when the time is right, yeah, we're gonna take flight like a thief in the night. So I gotta get it right. I gotta repent and sit patient. Waiting for supply drop. Google eyes don't blink, man. I need some eye drops. Google mind deep thinking Flippy AI thoughts. Yeah, Basil Gons, Basil Gons, Basil Gons. You know what's going on. Basil Gons, Basil Gons. Canary Cry News Talk, man, what's going on. Basil Gons, Basil Gons. And you know what's going on. Basil Gons, Basil Canary Cron News Talk, man, what's going on?
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Canary cried, not suppose.